case you haven't noticed, I have been reading a lot of my arcs lately. We're here for another Should You Read. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah, and today we're going to talk about more arcs. Two of these just came out recently. One came out earlier in the year and I slept on it. So we're going to start with that one, and that is 3 Grams of Elsewhere by Andy Gisling? I'm definitely saying it wrong, so I apologize. It's an indie science fiction book that is set in the far-ish, kind of a little ways in the future, in which the United States has fractured into small countries. They don't really get along very well, if at all, and empathy has been weaponized. So they being the military powers that are, discovered that empathy is where empathy is lodged in the brain, and a technique for enhancing and strengthening empathy has been developed. And empathy can be used in a lot of different ways, but it is also very easily used to control drones and other small robotics style things. Now this book follows BB, who is an elderly man living in a cozy minium, which I love that, cozy minium. It's a little, basically an old folks home. And he was kind of a washout in the military. He briefly controlled a large batch of small drones. I forgot the exact word that he used for these special drones, but he commanded them for some time and then washed out with some pretty severe PTSD. But BB is extremely empathetic. His empathy is very, very powerful. He can sense people from quite a ways away, and he gets very clear reads. What people are feeling like? Are they lying? Are they telling the truth? Things like that. And BB gets caught up in the military as a set of murders happens on what's called, I think it was called Dapper Day. 4 people that he worked with previously are murdered, and the portion of the brain that controls empathy was extracted from their minds. And so the military wants BB to try and help and solve this murder. He pulls in his friend Dis, who is another elderly individual. She was an old co-worker, we'll say, of BB's, and they work on solving this murder. And along the way, they find out there's a lot more going on here than just a murder, and the story really evolves out and really expands to bigger, wider range scope, and I really loved this. I actually ended up giving this a 5 stars. This is going on my list of things that I'm going to buy a copy of for myself. The topics in this that I found that I really enjoyed were especially things like the idea of the other, someone other, the self. Knowing how other people feel when you do things really changes, the way that you do things, the things you say and do. At one point, BB is talking about passing someone on the road. That moment of like, haha, I did that because you were being slow, but also how that makes that other person feel and why you shouldn't do it. The kind of empathy that most people lack, right? It's really taking a look at that sort of thing, how we're not truly always other, we're just always thinking that we're the only ones that feel a thing. A lot of times people don't think about what other people feel, right? And this looks at the idea of what if that was something that was constantly on some people's minds, on our minds, and has been weaponized by the military, by the government. And it was just very good. It was a great read. I read it really quickly. There was only a little bit of like a slow beat towards the middle, but after that the mysteries what's the word I want? The mysteries unfolded from there, and I really enjoyed what was being told and presented to me. And I really enjoyed the format because this kind of jumped between a past, a present, and a textbook. The textbook was chunks of a book used in the classes or in the program that helps to enhance empathy. So we're getting kind of lessons in what it is and how it works. The present tense is a reporter who's looking for BB, and the past tense is BB telling a story to an unknown entity, this story to an unknown entity. So this is a first person point of view for the most part, and it's his story of what happened at this period. And at the end we find out how important BB actually was, how he changed the world, how he wasn't so much a washout. Loved this. 5 stars, fantastic. I'm not doing it justice. 1000% not doing it justice. I recommend picking it up, especially for my indie fans. Indie sci-fi is fantastic. It's available pretty much everywhere as far as I'm aware, and I will be getting my own copy. So I definitely think you should read if you like sci-fi. this is a great one to pick up. The next one we'll talk about, which I think this one comes out before the other one. This one actually just came out because I have a copy of it. In fact, I'll be right back. Here it is. Her Radiant Curse by Elizabeth Lim. First off, this is a very pretty cover. I love this artwork, but this isn't what the character is supposed to look like. Let me describe it. This is the story of two sisters, Chani and Vana, and at the beginning of the story, in a very heart-wrenching for me set of events, we see Chani and Vana's mother die. Chani is cursed to have a snake's face. She does not really have a nose. She has scales on her face. Her pupils and her eyes are the wrong shape, you know, snake shaped. And Vani was born with a golden light that shines out of her chest. It shines so bright that she can't sleep at night. When they're small children, Vani teaches her to put a bowl over her chest to hide her light. And when Vani is born, their mother is dying, and their father, instead of giving up Vani as you would to make a bargain to save, you know, a dying mother, you give the child up. He takes Chani, and because of that, Chani is cursed by the tiger demon, Agma, maybe is how you say that name. And before she dies, their mother makes Chani promise to protect her sister from anything, from everything. And when the tiger demon cursed her, she told her, I will kill you and your sister if you do not give your sister to me before her 17th birthday. If you don't, I will come and I will find you and I will kill you. And I will kill her, most importantly. She wants to kill Vana. So the story is Chani trains and grows up her whole life attempting to protect her sister because she made a vow to her mother that she would protect her sister. And this is a story mainly about sisterhood and tragedy and sad things. I went through a journey on this one, let me tell you. I pre-ordered this ages ago and actually thought I had canceled my pre-order, in all honesty, until I got a shipping notification for this. And I got the shipping notification halfway through reading the book and I was like, I don't know if I want that. I may have to take and return it. By the end of this book, I'm keeping this. The ending on this was not what I expected. The ending on this was so, I don't even know. I expected this to go predictable plot beats, right? You get the story. There is a dragon guy who helps Chani along her journey, and you're like, okay, you know, there's the YA romance. It's not what you expect. It goes places you don't expect it to go, and I promise by the end, if you're not crying or you're not upset, there's something wrong with you. This had me all wound up. This also did a great job of building a world, while I'll say that on the whole, like the broad, wide world was not very clear. It was a little muddy on the edges, but each individual location that we spent a lot of time in was clear. It was pretty crisp. I got a good idea of where we were and what was going on. And as such, I had this vague idea of the world at large, clear images of where we were. That I feel sets up really well for a series or a like almost a metaverse where all of Elizabeth Lim's books could be set. I don't know if they are actually set in the same world. She wrote the Six Crimson Cranes series, which I have on my shelves and I'm gonna read, but it really established this big world that I feel like is full of magic and a lot of things could happen here. And I'm very interested to see if more things do happen in this setting or if this series actually, or this book connects to those previous books. I would be very excited, in fact, to see more of these characters come up in like cameos or something. Because at the end of the book where Chani ends up going and what she ends up doing feels like, you know, it's the first step on another journey. I don't necessarily want to see the rest of her journey, but I would like to see more of someone else's journey in that world, living with what the repercussions of what happened. So this one I really do recommend if you like YA fantasy, if you like specifically sisters, stories about sisters and sisterhood. It's very much Chani's story, not Vana's, but it has a lot of those themes of protection and love and taking care of one another, that sort of thing, and it's worth reading for sure. And the last one that we'll talk about, let me put that down. No, don't fall. Okay. The Dark Lord's Daughter by Patricia Reed. This is a middle grade fantasy by the author of the, what is it called? Enchanted Forest series. The first one's dealing with dragons, those books. This takes place in the same world, from what I understand, but this is the story of Kayla, who is transported into this world when a man finds her and claims that she is the Dark Lord's daughter. He was sent to find her 10 years ago after she was sent from her world, and she needs to come claim her inheritance. So she, her mother, and her brother are whisked away, portal magic style, to this other world. I don't like portal fantasies. I'll give that away. But this one did a thing I love, and because of that, this one was great. So, when they are whisked away, the magic of the portal changes the things and objects that they're carrying. Kayla is carrying a tablet that she got for school. It's got an automated voice for like directions and stuff. It becomes a familiar, a little cat monkey looking thing with wings. And it talks with that same British accent. It's so great. Her mother is carrying ibuprofen tablets, first aid. Those become a healing herb, an extremely powerful healing herb. Her cell phone becomes a messenger mouse, things like that. It's portal magic. Everyone knows what happened. There's no mystery there. And she accounts for the transference between worlds, right? And that's the thing that really kills me with portal fantasies. So this was great with that. And while they're there, we find out, they're trapped there for a while. Kayla has to learn how to claim the castle, the Dark Lord's castle, and learn to use her magic. This feels like the first book in a series. I can't find confirmation if it is or not, but I genuinely hope it is because this was great. In this one, we see Kayla take over the castle. We see her meet her birth mother and learn more about her birth father, and kind of learning how, even though she wants her birth father to not have been the Dark Lord, even though he had good attributes and good things that he might have done for her, he was still a Dark Lord. Not everyone's built up the way you want them to be, and your family, it's really the family that cares for you that's your real family, right? And I liked a lot of that. It was very, very subtle. It was a very soft touch of a story. The rest of it was just fun. It was a fast read. I was flipping through fast. It was very easy to read. There was no real slog to this one. Sometimes middle grade fantasies can feel long for me. They just kind of talk and talk and talk. But this one did not have that problem. I don't know how short, or I don't know the actual page count on this one, but it felt really short because it was going, and it always had something interesting happening. So if this is a series, I will be continuing the series. In fact, I kind of want to go back and reread the Enchanted Forest series because I haven't read it in probably 15 years. It feels like it's been forever. I very much recommend. That is a definite you should read. If you like middle grade fantasy, it's going to be a great pickup. You're going to really enjoy it. The best part by far is the computer. I'm just going to say that. Her little tablet that she brings, how her magic and the computer magic kind of ties together in the end. It's fantastic. Great, great book. Definitely recommend it. But that is it. That's the last 3 arcs that I have read recently. I will probably... I don't know if I'm going to read another 3 arcs or if I'm going to take a break and read some actual books besides what I've been reading for a vlog and these. We'll see. That's it for me now. That's it from me for now. I need to stop talking, obviously. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you're going to pick any of these up, what are your thoughts on them? And I will talk to you guys again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.